everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about exception handling. Exception handling is the process of handling the runtime exceptions. Exception is nothing but a runtime error. This is one of the main features of OOP languages. Let's see the types of errors in exception handling. There are two types of errors in exception handling. One is compile time errors and the second one is runtime errors. Compile time error. This error occurred after compiling the program, and the runtime error. These kind of errors occurs during the execution of program. When there is an exception, it automatically leads to abnormal application termination. The major purpose of exception handling is to avoid abnormal application termination. Let's see the types of application terminations. One is normal application termination and second one is abnormal application termination. Let's see what is this normal application termination. Whenever the program execution controls executes all the statements in the program and reaches to end of the code, and application will be terminated automatically. It is normal application termination. Whenever an exception occurred at the runtime, the application will be terminated automatically and it will be called as abnormal application termination. Now let's see how to implement error handling in C#. Create one new project. Inside your program file, I'm going to define one string array. Array name will be cities. I will add some cities. Here I am going to print the third element from our city list. Here the output will be Matharan, and then I am going to print fourth element from our city list, but it do not include any fourth element. In an array we count our element as 0, 1, 2 and then 3, but here it is talking about fourth place. We don't have any fourth element, so it will cause abnormal application termination. Let's run this one and see the output. Here you will see the element number 3 will be printed, but there is an error. For the element number 4, it says system.index out of range exception. Here, the array index out of range exception says that the line is trying to access an array element which is in out of range of the array, and it causes abnormal application termination during the runtime. In order to avoid this, we need to implement exception handling. Let's see the syntaxes of implementing exception handling. In order to implement exception handling, we use two blocks which are called as try and catch. Then catch block. Try block contains the actual code which is to be executed. After try block, we should have catch block. During the execution, if any exception occurs, then it goes to the catch block. Catch block contains necessary code which displays the error message to the user. They receive the exceptions thrown by the try block in the form of an object. Here we should write catch, then exception. Object will be EX. Here the exception will be class and EX will be the object. We can have one try block and multiple catch blocks, but we cannot have multiple try blocks and one catch block. Let's move to our example. Let's put our previously created program into a try catch block. Here I will open one try block and copy these things inside our try block. And then I'm going to add catch block. Class exception, object EX. Then if there is an error, I want to print the error. Here I want to give output as error occurred. From this line it will give the output as math error, and when it tries to execute line number 14 it will give an error. Let's run the program and see the output. Here is the expected output. Here the error which gives is user defined message. Let's see how to get system defined message as our output. Let's remove this part and add the object EX dot message. Now let's see the output. Here is the system defined message. Index was outside the bound of the array. Here I am going to discuss about types of catch block messages. Catch block generates an error message when an exception occurs. Error message can be defined in two types. As I showed you previously, one is user defined messages and the second one is system defined messages. In user defined messages, we can write our own messages. In system defined messages, we use ex.message in order to get the message. Now let's see exceptional classes. C# recognize exception as an object. To declare exception object, we are using the class called system.exception. The exception class we have a system overflow exception. This system overflow exception occurs when a large value is assigned to a variable which is not fit into that variable. And then system format exception. This occurs when casting fails. Then system divide by zero exception. This occurs when we divide any number by zero. System index out of range exception. This is the one that I showed you previous example. System IO exception. This happens when an error occurs during file read or file write. Then system.data.sql client.sql exception. Let's see one another example. First I am implementing try block. Here we have three integers n1, n2 and n3. We need to take keyboard inputs for n1 and n2. Then n3 equal n1 divided by n2. Let's print the value for n3. Here our try catch block is related to divide by zero exception error. Here if you don't know the exception class, you can use exception and create the object EX. Now I am going to define our error message. Cannot divide the number by 0. Let's run and see the output. Here our first value will be 5 and then n2 will be 0. You will get that error message, cannot divide the number by 0. It means directly it is going inside our catch block. Now let's see again. Our n1 value will be 10, n2 will be 5. Here result will be 2. It means it just executing try block. Now let's see how to add multiple catch blocks. Here our class will be overflow exception. Let's define our error as this is overflow exception. Then let's add one more catch. This will be format exception class. Object ex. Let's define the error. Console.writeLine. This is invalid cast exception. Let's run this one and see the output. Instead of n1 integer, I will give one character. Here you will see the error is thrown. This is invalid cast exception. Let's run again and see. Let's see how overflow exception works. Here I will initiate a large value for n1. Here you will see this is overflow exception. I think you all know that we can have finally block with these try catch blocks. Let's see how to use finally block with an example. We have two float numbers x and y. I will initiate x equals 0 and y then z. Open your try block. I want to have keyboard inputs for y and z. Y equal convert to int32. If z not equal 0, x equal y divided by z. Then let's write the else part. Else it will throw an error. Exception. Do not put 0 as the denominator. Now I am going to write the catch block. Class exception. Object ex. Console write line. Inside that I will give the error which need to be displayed. Let's add our new part. Finally block. Here inside the final block we have to show the answer which we get after dividing our number. Let's run and see the output. As the y, I will enter 10. As z, I will enter 2. Here you will see answer will be 5. Now I am going to enter again some values for y. I will enter 34y and I will make the denominator 0. Z will be 0. Then let's see the output. Here you will see system exception. Do not put 0 as the denominator. Here you will see our answer is 0. It means this answer equal 0 comes from our final block. If there is an error or not, this final block will be executed then show the answer. This is all about exception handling or error handling. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.